Victimhood complex. It's going to sabotage your potential from so many different angles, it's not even funny. It's literally the lie that sounds like the truth. There's a quiet, corrosive mindset that destroys dreams more efficiently than failure ever could. It doesn't come with alarms or warning signs. It comes disguised as fairness, rationalization, and emotional safety. It is the victimhood complex, and it's one of the most dangerous psychological loops that a person can ever live inside. The victimhood complex is not just about what happened to you. It's about what you believe those events mean about you and what they excuse you from doing. Most people are trapped and they don't even know it. Why? Because the story of the victim is emotionally seductive. It makes you feel safe. It gives you permission to stop trying. It shifts the burden of responsibility onto others. And worst of all, it feels justified. And so long as it's feeling justified, you're going to bring to you what you need to prove it to be true. But here's the hard truth. As long as you choose to be the victim, you can't lead, you can't grow, and you can't win. So what is it? It's a psychological identity pattern, and we're talking about your identity here, okay? So it's a psychological identity pattern where an individual believes they are constantly being wronged, oppressed, suppressed, disadvantaged, taken advantage of, often regardless of what actual circumstances are actually happening around them. It's not the presence of pain or trauma that defines a complex. It's the belief that the pain defines you and absolves you from action. If that becomes your identity, alarm, alarm, alarm. If it's the belief that the pain defines you and absolves you from taking action, that's not okay. So some of the characteristics would be you would blame external circumstances or people for personal outcomes. You avoid accountability. It would be cloaked in emotional narratives. You would be recycling past wounds to justify current stagnation. Oh, but look at what happened to me. Look at what they did to me. It's not my fault. Resent those who move forward because they didn't have it as hard. And they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Lucky break, on and on and on. Believes fairness, not execution, should determine results. But I got news for you. Life ain't fair. Nobody ever said it was supposed to be fair. Life is what you make it. The victim demands empathy while rejecting responsibility. The leader builds strength by embracing both empathy and responsibility. The emotional payoffs of staying a victim is that nobody clings to a broken identity unless it gives them something, right? So you're getting an emotional payoff because of how it's making you feel, you clinging to that broken identity. But it's a broken identity. And the faster that you can figure out that it's a broken identity and start changing your identity, the better off you are. So the victimhood complex survives because it pays emotionally, even if it destroys progress and you. Some of the emotional payoffs are, you'll have moral superiority. I've been wronged, so I'm better than those who hurt me. How can you be better than the ones that hurt you if it's made you stuck? They manipulated you, they hurt you, they wronged you, and now you're going to continue to pay the price for the rest of your life? You'll lower your standards. You can't expect much from me. Look at what I've been through. Attention and validation. People rally around the wounded. This happens on such a level that it's not even funny. And there's even been people that hurt their children because of the attention that they got from having a hurt child. It's out there. It's real. And then there's power through guilt. Others are manipulated into compliance. Oh, poor me, poor me. And then people feel sorry for you, and you're manipulating them into whatever you want them to do. There's no risk of failure. I mean, you can't fail if you never try. But these payoffs create a psychological prison. Every benefit reinforces the walls that hold you back, and it's got a super high cost. The victimhood complex doesn't just keep you stuck, it actively erodes your internal leadership, external results, and the ability to connect. It kills agencies. Victims don't act, they wait. They wait for someone else to fix it, apologize for it, rescue them, validate them. But leadership, success, transformation requires movement, not waiting. Victimhood destroys relationships. People eventually grow tired of walking on eggshells or being blamed for your unhappiness. The victim becomes isolated, and now they're even a bigger victim, not because others abandon them, but because they weaponize their pain to control the room. And then, again, you're bringing to yourself what to prove that you're right. And, now all of a sudden, people don't want to be around you, and you're even more of a victim. And if you're getting tired of it, then change it. You cannot build greatness on a foundation of blame. Even when victims succeed, they often self-sabotage because deep down their identity doesn't believe they're worthy of thriving. You've got to change the identity. You cannot live in victimhood and self-respect at the same time. One must die for the other one to live. You can't have self-respect if you're a victim, and you can't be a victim if you have self-respect. It's just fact. So how does it actually take root inside of us? I mean, it's normally got repeated early disempowerment. When somebody repeatedly experiences helplessness or abuse, especially in childhood, and bluntly, what child doesn't experience helplessness because we don't have the wherewithal yet to be helpful. So we're going to be helpless in so many instances, it's not even funny. And then you internalize the belief that control is an illusion. Control is not an illusion. The only thing that you can control is yourself. So choose to. Emotional overvalidation without accountability. If somebody is constantly affirmed in their pain, but never taught to take ownership of their healing, victimhood becomes their identity. You have to take ownership of your healing, or being a victim is literally your identity. And then our culture nowadays, oh my God, our society often glorifies suffering and struggle more than solutions. And the victim narratives dominate headlines because they pull attention. But attention is not transformation. And if you want to be stuck in your identity of a victim, instead of transforming into your identity of somebody successful and powerful and a leader and a mover and a shaker and charismatic, I mean, it's totally up to you. We have to break free, and our identity, identity before action, and then action affirms identity, and it just keeps cycling. You don't overcome the victimhood complex by working harder. You're going to beat it. You're going to overcome it by reclaiming your rightful identity of somebody powerful. You've got to ruthlessly and be honest. You got to be ruthlessly honest. What am I getting from this identity? Until you confront the emotional benefit, you unconsciously protect the pattern. So if you don't like what you're getting out of being a victim, then quit being a victim. Grieve what was, but stop worshiping it. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, it was unfair. Yes, it mattered. But it does not define what you're capable of now, does it? You don't have to keep reliving the pain to honor it and allowing it to define your identity. You got to redefine the power. I mean, power is not getting others to change. It's building a life you believe in, regardless of whether they do or not. If nobody else believes in you, it doesn't matter. It's whether you believe in you. It's whether you're worth it. You have to choose the identity that you want to have. You have to declare, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become in spite of it. Why would you allow that to define you? Identity drives behavior. Behavior creates results. Victimhood dies when you act from a different identity. And leadership literally requires the death of victimhood. Victimhood and leadership can't coexist. One is about excuses and the other one's about execution. If you and anybody that knows me at all knows that it's all about execution. It's all about movement. It's all about behavior. It's about your behavior matching your identity, your values, and then the momentum happening because you're actually living your life based on your behavior matching your values, which changes your identity, which changes your behavior, which changes your identity, and the momentum just keeps going on. If you're not leading a business, a team, or a family, you're not leading them if you're a victim. You might be leading them, but definitely not in a good way. And that's the scary part, especially if you're, if in a family and, people younger than you, more vulnerable than you. I mean, are you going to do the same thing to them that was done to you if that's what was done to you? I mean, if you're leading, you got to kill the victim mindset, or where are you leading them to, right? People follow your energy more than your words. And if you walk into a room with resentment and justification in your body, you will never build a high performance culture. You just can't. Leadership is not about your circumstances, it's about your standards. And how you lead others is going to be a direct representation of how you're leading yourself and believing in yourself. And how can you believe in yourself if you're a victim and you're wallowing in what people have done to you instead of accepting responsibility for what you can do? If you're going to lead people out of victimhood, you gotta, you gotta call it out. I mean, do it with compassion, but you gotta call it out. Wow, that situation was difficult. Now let's talk about what we can do to control it, to get past it, to own it. Redirect from blame to action. What are we willing to do about it? I mean, if we focus on blaming and now the victim is just going to stay more of a victim. And again, if you're a victim, how are you going to lead somebody anyway? We're going to refuse to reward the victim behavior. We're not going to reinforce drama with attention. We're not going to reward ownership. We will reward ownership with empowerment. Okay? But we're not going to reinforce drama with attention. We just don't do it. So we need to show them what it looks like to rise, to be the example every day. And then we have to understand that the choice that changes everything is literally you deciding what you want to be when you grow up. I don't care how old you are. You got to figure out who you want to be when you grow up. I just tell that to 70 and 80 and 90-year-old people because nobody's ever going to grow up completely. It's just not possible. So you're not going to heal by blaming. You're not going to grow by waiting. And you're not going to lead by shrinking. The victimhood complex is a trap disguised as safety. It's a defense mechanism that becomes a prison, and no one escapes until they take the terrifying step of declaring, I am no longer available to be a victim in my story. I am the author. I am the one who writes the next chapter. And when you make that decision, not once, but every day, you don't just change your story. You're going to reclaim your power. You're going to transform your life, and you're going to give others permission to do the same. Stay safe, stay strong, and whatever you do, you have to understand that you have to be in charge of who you are, what you stand for, where you're going. Stay safe, stay strong.